When you go out to a restaurant, it is advisable to leave at least a 10% tip for the waiter. However, a restaurant in Virginia did not appreciate that a customer paid his bill with 25 cents, despite a tip of $10, and decided to cover him in shame on social media. The manager of the restaurant did not know that this was not a way to gain new customers, and the whole community was outraged at this public shame. Most businesses don't care how you pay your bill, as long as it gets paid. However, what a restaurant in Virginia decided to do after a customer paid for their friend's meal in parts shocked an entire community. Restaurant humiliates child for paying in loose change, but they didn't know his story. After a customer paid a $45 bill with 25-cent coins, Beer 88 restaurant in Virginia decided this was no way to get paid. The officials of the establishment then decided to alert everyone to this situation. They decided to make a Facebook post about it to shame the young teenager who was singled out. It is clear that this is not an attitude that adults should have towards a caddy. The intention of the restaurant was to shame the customer who had used 25-cent coins to pay his bill. As can be seen clearly in the photo, the restaurant does not want to be paid in parts. And that's not all. They also said how not to pay at a restaurant. But what the restaurant manager did not know was this amazing thing that makes people all over the world side with the customer. Indeed, he did not win his case with the public of the popular social network. The Facebook post was made in an attempt to shame the boy. It was their original intention, but they didn't know what was going to happen. Their Facebook post description says it all. They say it's the nicest thing they can think of to say about the facts they've been through. However, the manager did not know the story of the boy and did not know why he was paying 25 cents initially. Wait until you see the boy's response. The manager will be amazed after hearing the teenager's version. Although the original intention was to shame this little guy and collect some buzz in the process, it didn't go as planned. If you think the boy felt guilty or ashamed, think again. His response was inspiring, and this precise event spun off into an amazing story that touched thousands of people. Rather, it served as a springboard for writing a great story that would certainly generate more buzz than the restaurant manager wanted. You won't believe what happened after the boy answered. The young boy decided not to sit idly by. He took his courage and decided to respond valiantly. The Facebook post went viral, and the boy who paid with coins decided to respond by saying, "Hey, at least I gave a $10 tip." Seeing this, the local community became even more outraged at the restaurant and started to hate the post. The boy who paid the bill for spare parts is Cohen Notley, and he is a waiter himself. Who would know better than a waiter how to pay an invoice? So he knows the right way to pay a bill at a restaurant, and the manager of Beer 88 didn't need to publicly shame him on social media. Cohen was aware of what he was doing and knew full well how to pay his bill. He didn't need to be taught as the restaurant manager wanted to do. Sometimes being responsive can get us out of the worst situations. That's what Cohen did best in an awkward situation. It can happen to anyone to get stuck with a bill to pay but little money in their pockets. In fact, Cohen didn't really mean to tip, but he made the most of an awkward situation. His friends couldn't afford all their food, so Cohen went looking for all the money he had in his pockets. Here's what happened next. The truth is, the young boy wanted to come to the aid of his loved ones who were in difficulty. The most scandalous part of this whole thing is that Cohen was actually paying for his friends who didn't have enough money to pay for their food. That's why he had to take all the coins out of his pocket. Can you believe this? People on Facebook immediately rallied around Cohen, and then the situation deteriorated in the best possible way. He couldn't have hoped for better given the initial situation. Cohen was hanging out at the restaurant with his friends, and he couldn't let them down. They were his childhood friends. Cohen was just a good friend, and he was publicly disgraced on Facebook for it. Moreover, if he had so many coins, it is because he himself works as a waiter and receives tips in coins. Obviously, the establishment had taken that badly. So where did he end up after being treated badly by the manager on Facebook? Everyone started supporting Cohen on Facebook, for his good deed, and he started to feel better. The publication had the opposite effect, contrary to what the manager of the restaurant who had made this publication on Facebook wanted. People supported the young man who showed a beautiful proof of friendship. Although he was publicly humiliated, Cohen said he would do it again because the only thing that matters to him is helping his friends. After seeing thousands of people supporting him on Facebook, Cohen had a brilliant idea. Only real geniuses know how to make the most of an unfortunate situation by taking advantage of it. This brilliant young man really knew how to turn things around in his favor. He had a brilliant idea that would change the course of things and even change his story. Considering that so many people sided with Cohen, he thought his gesture must have touched everyone. And so, he thought all this publicity could help a lot of other people. He used the term quarter and gave it a whole new meaning, totally different from what the restaurant considered shameful. The bet was daring, but he thought he could really profit from it. Besides, hadn't he already overcome mockery to help his friends? His decision was made and nothing could stop him. Cohen decided to create a foundation called the Quarterboy, where he would secure donations from strangers and help those in need. We love the Change Your Life Quarter at a Time message. This is the message he wanted to get across to people. He wanted people to know that it is possible to change your life no matter what. The young man wasn't just going to help his friends anymore. He decided to extend his activities to the public to benefit as many people as possible from his ideas and his commitment. His close friends should no longer be the only ones to benefit from Cohen's attention. He wanted to help more people. While the manager spent his time complaining about getting a big tip in small pieces, this young boy was spending his time really making a change and helping people in need. The Quarterboy Foundation had a real motivation to help people, even if this help was not immense. Beer 88 should follow his lead and start doing some nice things. Cohen decided to collect the coins that the Beer 88 made fun of. He wanted to show that you could do things right with these coins. Cohen just wanted to help people, and he pledged to pay for foreigners' meals with coins he would collect from people who donated. He gave himself a quarter to collect as many coins as possible, and at the end of each quarter, he was going to please strangers. Isn't that amazing? He had eaten with his friends in a restaurant, and they did not have enough money on them to pay the bill. He decided to come to their aid. He remembered that it was by helping his friends that the restaurant manager laughed at him and decided to humiliate him in public. The young boy knows that not everyone can afford to eat at a restaurant, and he wants to help everyone by paying for their meals. The fact that Cohen devotes his time to doing good deeds like this shows us that he is a wonderful human being. Cohen's action was gaining momentum and he was gaining popularity, the kind of popularity that makes everyone recognize him along the way. Before he went to his restaurant with his friends to share a meal, he could go unnoticed by everyone. It didn't take long for Cohen to become a local celebrity and everyone knew him as the Quarterboy. In fact, all of the waiters in the restaurants were happy to see him come to their table because that meant they would get a big tip too. It is common for some people to leave after eating at a restaurant without paying the bill. Even though the manager of Beer 88 was outraged at being paid in 25-cent coins, it's still money. He had behaved badly in criticizing the efforts of young boys who had occupied a table and ordered dishes of food. In the end, the manager should have been happy that Cohen and his friends paid for their meal, because if that was the case, he would have had a shortfall. The mission Cohen had embarked on was to collect 25-cent coins to help people in difficulty. He chose the right time to ride the wave of internet users on Facebook who had learned of his history with the restaurant. Now that Cohen's story has gone viral, more and more people have heard of him and want to help him. Cohen says he can't believe the number of people giving him money and he's grateful to all of them. Cohen's actions were completely selfless. He was helping people who were in need and that's it. For example, after collecting a few $100s in 25-cent coins, Cohen went to the nearest gas station and paid to refuel a man. Incredible action taken by an ordinary boy. People were totally amazed at the efforts Cohen was making. There needs to be more good people like Cohen in the world. Don't you agree? The more people contributed, the more opportunity Cohen had to help people in need more often. And it's nice. Cohen doesn't just pay people's food and fuel bills, but he also goes to the local laundromat and pays people to wash their clothes for free. Another action that testifies to the generosity of this young boy who had a brilliant idea. He brings smiles back to underprivileged populations thanks to his help, which started from nothing at all. It is clear that the commitment shown by the young boy shows that he has a big heart. He really wanted to help people. If the world was filled with more good kids like Cohen, then we can be sure this would be a better place. People would be more considerate and peace would undoubtedly be the thing most shared by everyone. Cohen attracted more and more eyes to him. Many of you are familiar with Pizza Hut. Maybe you've even had a meal at this reputable restaurant. Well, the local Pizza Hut restaurant was impressed after listening to Cohen's story, and the manager decided to donate 10 boxes full of coins that are worth $200 in total. It was an important donation for the foundation. Cohen was happy to receive a huge boost from a restaurant giant. Cohen has made headlines and says he is going to use this projector to help those in need. Isn't it crazy that it all started when a restaurant put Cohen to shame? In reality, this boy is golden. He went beyond criticism and mockery to make it something good and big. He started receiving donations from slightly larger companies and even made headlines. But the young man remained humble in his action to help people.